Welcome to solverfy.
All right, so here we are wanting to insert an integer into a list of other integers. So we're just going to call this one insert, but you can call it really whatever you'd like. And the input is going to be a list. All right, so it's going to be a list of integers, n of them. So I'm just going to abbreviate integers as ints. We do require that there's at least one element in the list, and also that they are in increasing order, right? So A1 would need to be less than or equal to A2, which needs to be less than or equal to A3, and so on. And I close this bracket too soon because, of course, we also have another item that this would take, and that's the integer that we are searching for, right? So x, also an integer, but this is what we're going to be inserting into our list. So initially, we're going to sort of add a last element. Okay, we're going to do that so that there's always an integer larger than x in the list. This will help us be able to insert x in the right spot, assuming that it is larger than any element in the list. So we're going to just define a(n plus 1 as being larger than x. And we're going to replace this later by its exact value, so you don't have to worry about adding to the list unnecessarily. And so the list of integers are already in increasing order. So we're going to start by iterating through them, right? The first, second, and then the third. And we want an index to keep track of that. So we're just going to set I, our index, equal to 1. So we're starting at the first element in the list. And so while x, the item we're trying to search, is greater than any given index, we're going to change I to the next one, right? So I'm just going to set it equal to itself plus one more. And so if x is larger than a1, then we go to the next index, 2. And if x is larger than a2, we would go to the next index, 3, and so on. And at some point, that index will stop. It'll be smaller than something, right? And once we hit that point, we will shift all the values larger than x to the next position, right? And this will give us a place to insert x. So for k being equal to 0 to n minus I, so now we're just shifting, right? So whatever the a to the n minus k plus 1 value is going to be moved over 1 to the a n minus k. Okay, so now we can put x into its position at ai. All right, and this shifting, right, the shifting that occurred here will replace this initial element. So we don't have to worry about having added something that doesn't belong. Okay, and so now that everything is added, the last thing to do, this last step, which I've run out of room for, but I'll write it off to the side, is of course to return our list. Right, so we just want to return the list a1, a2, etc., all the way down to an plus 1, right? And it's plus 1 because we've added to it. So there's one more element than there was before.